Every year about this time, I make sure my DVR is set to capture the lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Love it. My friends always watched it on TV, some friends I know in New Jersey. But one year, man, did they have a different experience because it was their daughter and son-in-law who had the tree on their farm that became the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. And so my friends had a front row seat watching the artists and the celebrities pretend they're singing their songs. And he told me afterwards, he said, Ron, to be up that close to it changes everything, makes all the difference. You know, it's that way with the Christmas story. It's so familiar to us. I mean, we've watched it, so to speak, many, many times. The manger and Mary and Joseph and no room in the inn and the Wiseman and the shepherds and all. But you know, there are some people who weren't at the manger. They'll never appear in your nativity set. I call them the manger strangers. But you know what? They're in the story. God made sure they were in the story. And each one of them is a mirror for us. I think it's worth looking around, and in a few visits here, we're going to look at some of them. Here's one. I would call the first one the embattled preacher's wife. Yep. She's married to the priest, Zacharia. Her name is Elizabeth. And the battle is this. They're an elderly couple. She has never been able to bear children. In that culture, a woman was shamed. It just wasn't right, but it seemed like God wasn't blessing them. But the Bible makes very clear they were a righteous couple. And so you can know that she was shamed and criticized, gossiped about. That's Elizabeth. Then the angel Gabriel came and said that miraculously they were going to conceive and they would have a child who would become John the Baptist, the man who would prepare the way for the Messiah, because Messiah was coming. Now, Elizabeth is now in her 5th month. Let's go 100 miles to a teenage girl in Nazareth. Gabriel appears to her and announces that she will be supernaturally pregnant, bearing the Son of God, the Messiah, Jesus. And that's wonderful. She says, I am the Lord's servant. Except for one thing, she too has got a shame issue, because if you're a young woman and you are pregnant and you can't explain that, you're not married, and there's not an explanation anybody can understand, you're an adulteress in people's eyes, possibly subject to stoning. She's at the most vulnerable time in her life. What does Mary do? She looks for somebody she'll be safe with. She goes to Elizabeth. And here's the mirror in this part of the Christmas story. Mary got ready, hurried to a town in the hill country of Judea, entered Zachariah's home, greeted Elizabeth. When she did, the baby leaped in Elizabeth's womb, she said. And then she says, blessed are you, she tells Mary, among women. Blessed is the child you will bear. And then she said, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her. So who is Elizabeth and what is it to us? She's the person that makes other people feel safe. Are you? Boy, there's a mirror in the Christmas story. To be the one that listens, and listens a lot. The one who doesn't judge, who doesn't criticize, who unconditionally loves, whose arms are wide open, who doesn't condemn. You know, your children need you to be that. Your grandchildren need you to be that safe place. Your husband, your wife, your friends. Because it's a tough world to find any place that's safe. And notice, she's also an elevator, Elizabeth is. She elevates Mary. She praises her and affirms her. People need that. When my dear wife Karen went to be with Jesus so suddenly, I got so many tributes to her. And they had a common theme. They said she made me feel loved, beautiful, like I could go on, seen, heard. You know, we all make people feel a certain way. We leave a trail wherever we go. I hope as we look at Elizabeth's example, this first manger stranger, that we will determine that we're going to be that person who, when someone comes to us, they feel seen and they feel safe. Merry Christmas.